Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Fairy Tales. I'm Jay. I'm here with Isaac, and we'll get straight into it. Isaac, you want to just introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, Jay. My name's Isaac Gueu. I graduated Pitzer College in 2024. I studied econ there, and since I've moved to San Francisco Bay Area, where I've worked in corporate at Genentech, and more recently have joined the startup world at Pylon.
Awesome, awesome. The first question I wanted to ask you, take you back to the time at the 5C, is what has been your favorite class you took here?
Oh, easy. Human-centered design, which is where I met Jay. Yeah, I had the privilege of taking that class my senior spring, managed to get in, and yeah, had a really good time. It aligned really well with my interests in kind of design and product management, and was really just great to be surrounded with other students that were like similar mind, interested in entrepreneurship and design and creating community in that way. So by far my favorite class.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I actually agree with you wholeheartedly there. Everything, literally everything you said. And shout out to Fred. Any
Shout
part
out Fred.
Yeah. Any particular story or projects you worked on in that class that still resonate with you to this day?
Yeah, we did an experience design. Um, so there was I think 5 or 6 of us from the class, and then there was one person from the community who was an elderly student, you could say, who was coming into our classes, and it was really just an opportunity to work on kind of like cross generational communication and actually design an experience that kind of helped bridge the gap of communication kind of between different generations. So we ended up doing a lot of immersive kind of like field trips and experiences and ended up designing an experience where we had like community members come in and do like an intergenerational dinner with different prompts on the table. And it sparked some really interesting conversations and a really good vibe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a great class for those of you who want to get into entrepreneurship. It's fantastic. But yeah, I remember when I first met you in that class, we obviously had a great time and we're fortunate enough to be teammates on a project. And I remember you telling me all about these different endeavors you're involved in outside the classroom. Could you tell us about your entrepreneurial journey during your time at Claremont?
Yeah, yeah, happy to. Yeah, so I founded a startup called FitEmpower. Um, it was basically a like an AI powered fitness assistant, fitness coach, that would tailor like fitness plans and um, meal plans to your goals. So you'd basically fill out a questionnaire and it'd kind of generate this, this plan for you to use. And yeah, I had a blast with it. It kind of was sparked out of my time in Paris. So I studied abroad in Paris my junior year, and a problem that I ran into was like there were not that many gyms in Paris for whatever reason, and the ones that I did find were like really, really overcrowded. So I found myself like doing like body weight exercises in the park and like park benches and just all types of stuff to try to kind of stay fit. And it kind of sparked this idea of like, okay, I have really limited equipment, but like, how could I get like a really easy and accessible plan to like kind of keep up with that fitness aspect without a gym. So that's kind of what prompted the idea, and then shared it with friends and kind of found a community on Reddit and ended up developing the product and shipping it live.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. I appreciate you telling us like the problem aspect first, very human centered, and maybe that is one really good way of approaching problems. So that's super cool. Um, and then so as you looking back to senior year, as you were getting ready to go out into the real world, what were some of the things that were on your mind, and what next steps did you take?
Yeah, that's a great question. To be real, I was just thinking about getting an offer, so it was kind of took up most of my thoughts. I I think if I went back, I would have tried to be less concerned with that, because I feel like when you graduate, you kind of realize that there's always going to be a job out there. There's like endless jobs, and being in college and being a senior in in college is kind of the only time you get to do that and experience that, especially the spring semester. So just a little snippet of advice, I would say, like, don't worry too much, especially the first job out of college is like very, it's not meant to be your forever job. So I would say, yeah, mostly thinking about about graduating and then also just having fun with friends. Like I remember senior year just trying to do everything that I hadn't done yet in college. So we went skydiving with some friends, just trying to check things off the bucket list pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear that, and pretty applicable to me right now. And I'll try my best to keep it chill, hang out with friends, yeah, things like that. One program that you were a part of was the Kleiner Perkins Fellowship. And before I sort of dive into that, would you mind quickly just describing what it is?
Yeah, of course. It's a so Kleiner Perkins is a venture capital firm. They have an office in San Francisco, one in South Bay, and it's the fellowship is basically a way of getting college students who are really interested in kind of the startup space and VC into a room together and into a cohort. So I applied my senior fall, had a few rounds of interviews, and then ended up becoming a fellow the summer of 2024. So right after I graduated, I came to San Francisco. I was dog sitting is kind of how I stayed in the city for like 3 months without a job, and pretty much just to do the fellowship. So, be surrounded with other students who are really interested in entrepreneurship, really high achieving students. And to this day, like I've met some really good friends through the program. So, I know they opened up applications again somewhat recently. If they're still open, I recommend everyone apply. They have a engineering design track. I'm not sure if they're continuing their product track, which I was a part of. But yeah, really good opportunity for students and yeah, any type of like BC fellowship, I would highly recommend.
Right. And that aspect of community and being surrounded by like-minded people with similar interests, that seemed to be one of the core points that resonated with you. Do you have like a favorite story about that? Like maybe someone you met or something you guys did together?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I met John Doerr, which was really cool. He came in to like give us his book and like sign them and give us like 15 minutes of advice, which was just incredible to be in a room with him and be able to ask him questions. So it was definitely a highlight. And then it kind of as far as the network or like community side went, we ended the summer with a boat ride or like a boat tour around San Francisco Bay, which is kind of like I think they try to do it every year. It's kind of what the fellowship is known for. And met some really good friends through that. We ended up kind of keeping a group, and we'd play pickleball every Sunday. So we stayed in touch. I actually saw them a couple of weeks ago at a kind of like a reunion event. So I would just say things like that have gone a really long way. Just kind of keeping up with like friendships and community, and of course the professional network is huge too. It's how I transitioned from corporate into the startup world as well, was through a KP connection.
Yeah, yeah. Let's explore that path. So after your time at Klein& Perkins, and the portfolio company, you went into Genentech. Could you talk about your experience there a little bit, and then what sort of made you go to a startup?
Yeah, yeah. So after spending like over a year at Subject, which is the KP portfolio company, I kind of just wanted a break from the startup world. I was like, I've never been in big tech or bigger company, and it seemed nice. I was like, I want to see what it's like. So I got an offer at Genentech, which is a biotech company. I was doing a rotational program there, so rotated through data analytics and an AI product team. Really enjoyed it. Learned a lot. I think it was a really good intro to like, this is the professional world. This is how adults communicate. But at the end of the day, I really just missed the fast paced nature of startups, how much like ownership you get, how much agency, like when you have an idea, it's pretty much like, all right, figure it out yourself, ship it. Like, it's pretty much like free range. So, ended up kind of missing that and then transitioned back into the startup world.
Yeah, yeah. And now you are on a rocket ship, a Pylon, who's doing incredible things. Um, yeah, could you talk about what part of their mission or what part of their team, anything like that, that sort of made you want to join the most?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say coming in as the first product hire was really what excited me. There was a lot of opportunity for like just to learn more about kind of B2B SaaS space, but also just define and build out process and how are we gonna create our feature launch process and development and product launches and that kind of things. Coming in, there's just like a big problem of like we have all like basically the problem was our engineers ship so many features, so many products, and the rest of the company or even our customers can't keep up with what's going on. So a lot of my role has been kind of like patching some of those process gaps. Um, Patching some of like the product and feature gaps and then also the communication aspect. So it's been a blast. I've learned so much and have used just about every tool imaginable. So it's been a good time.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. The thing with startups that I think from the outside is super, super clear to see is that there's a lot of work. It's pretty gritty, and maybe that involves late nights and some lack of sleep. But maybe that's been the case for you, maybe not. But is there a moment where you sort of realize that, wow, this is what it's like to be at a startup?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, yeah, there's the time components coming from a corporate, bigger company, like 4 p.m. The office is empty. I think yeah, that was kind of the first realization, 6 p.m. on a Friday. Everyone is still in their, at their desk. We have a lot of fun. We'll find, play ping pong, go climbing, find ways to kind of break it up, which has been a blast. I would say the moment I really realized I was at a startup was pitching an idea to the founders and just getting yeah, go ahead, like, almost like, "Why are you telling us?" Like, "Just go do it." Like, we wanna see it once it's built. Kinda just that mindset shift of, like, corporate having to, like, jump through the hoops and, like, get approval and kind of get people to back you almost, to the startup space where, people are gonna trust you, that you're gonna ship something good and, um, execute, and then just kind of running with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. That aspect of ownership, I feel like is pretty unique to working at a startup, and that's really that's funny to hear. Yeah, yeah, and I also know. So you played soccer for the Pomona Pitzer team when you were a freshman, sophomore, and I recently heard you guys are Pylon is also has their own soccer team. How's that
We
go?
do. It's been a blast. It's game day today, so we're playing in a few hours, but it's been a blast. I think we're 4-0, 5-0, but it's
Okay,
just been a good opportunity to bond with coworkers outside of the office. It's been a blast. There's a couple other ex-college players at Pylon, so we may have a little bit of an advantage. But, yeah, it was nice. We played Snapchat, I think, last week. We crushed them. It's fun playing, like, bigger companies.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Databricks the week before, so it's kinda like a fun rivalry too between the companies.
Yeah, yeah, 4-0 is pretty impressive. Yeah. I okay, and sort of the last thing I wanted to talk about was this environment of being in San Francisco. And we will use soccer an example that you're getting exposure to at least some degree to all these different companies and different startups. What is it for you to mean to be in San Francisco? Like, what is that like? The environment and the exchange of ideas.
It's I think there's a reason people move from all over the world who are interested in tech and entrepreneurship to San Francisco, and you'll meet people like that week in and week out. So it's just being surrounded by so many people that are passionate about building something, you know, taking something from zero to one. Just the drive to be in tech, be in the center of everything, especially with everything in AI that's going on. It's like, oh yeah, like this company just launched this new model and their office is like 2 blocks down. So it feels very immersive and it's just, I think, the best place you can be if you're interested in entrepreneurship or tech.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Those are all the big questions I had for you. I suppose the last one is, do you have a story you would like to tell us?
Oh, that story. Yeah, I would say, to come full circle, I remember I think it was our last day of human-centered design or one of the last days, and we grabbed lunch after and just talked about VC things and, like, startup stuff. Yeah, I guess kind of my point there is to any, like, students that are kind of interested in the space, like, I think the biggest thing you'll get from the 5 Cs in that capacity is, like, the community that you're gonna build. So just, like, talking with other people can be so refreshing because it's easy to be like, "Oh, I'm the only one that's interested in building or the only one that's, like, thinking like this," but once you step into those spaces, you really realize, like, "Oh, there's other people that kind of have this drive and this, um, kind of mission that I have." So I think that kind of connections like that go a really, really long way.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember what we had for lunch? It was
It was actually, I do. It was the night they do or the lunch they do, like, Mongolian,
yeah,
something at it was at the CMC
Collins.
dining hall.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Mongolian stir fry at Collins.
exactly. I
Yeah.
don't miss it. I'm
You
not
know,
gonna
with
lie.
it
I don't.
I mean, that must
I
mean you're
miss
getting pretty good food.
I yeah, we a lot of good food in San Francisco. I miss the mud steak nights, mud breakfast, but yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Well, Isaac, thank you so much for your time. That wraps up today's episode. But yeah, appreciate you so much, and I hope, yeah, I hope entrepreneurship keeps increasing here at the Five C's.
definitely. Thanks so much for having me, Jay.
All right, man.